Happy Monday and happy sports equinox. Welcome to the Pre-Snap Podcast presented by LineStar, your top NFL player prop bets. On Monday Night Football, tonight's contest between the Pittsburgh Steelers hosting the New York Giants. Should be a good one. We've got some good player picks from that game. But first things first, we got to celebrate our wins, Tyler. And we had a pretty awesome weekend in the props department. Of the 5 props that we gave out on our main props show, we were 5-0, a perfect record. So we gave out a winning ticket. Just want to announce to everyone that we will announce a winner to our contest for that show. On that show that's coming up this Thursday, we'll announce that on that show. So if anybody's coming here looking for the winner of that contest, we will announce it on Thursday. It'll come out Thursday, but it's the show for the Sunday slate of games. So make sure you tune into that one for our winner. We'll set off the money gun, make it official. But yeah, our ticket crushed. Jahmyr Gibbs, Joe Mixon, Romeo Doubs, Cedric Tillman. I like that pick there, Tyler. That was a good one for Cedric Tillman. How about the Browns coming through? And then we had Kenneth Walker. About the only thing he did was rack up receiving yards. His rushing yards total was not there, but glad we pivoted to the receiving yards with Kenneth Walker there, and we cashed that ticket. So $100 flex entry on Underdog Fantasy. So congratulations if you guys also tailed us there. But let's get into tonight's game. We got a thriller. The Steelers are actually in first place.
One way to put it.
In the AFC North after Baltimore lost to the Cleveland Browns. How about that? It's been a wild weekend. Can we just talk about the games yesterday that were just coming down to the wire? Let's just not talk about the Jets game, though. I know probably you might try to bring that up. I don't want to talk about it, but the other games are...
I'll just go straight to that Bears and Commanders game.
Oh, yeah. That had to be the moment of the day for sure. The Hail Mary. Just crazy.
Absolutely wild. The Bears player taunting the fans, and then he was the one supposed to be on Noah Brown.
Bear's gonna bear. That's all I'm gonna say about that one. Oh. They had a few moments to shut the door on that game, and they just weren't able to do it. So congrats to Washington Commanders and those fans out there. I feel like they've been waiting a long time for this, so I'm happy for Commanders fans out there. Chicago Bears fans, though, if you're out there, there's some stuff to root for, and it's just exciting to see both of these young quarterbacks playing so well early in the season, and hopefully these guys will have a lot of other contests for them and big showdowns to come.
I do have a bone to pick with Caleb Williams. I had a lineup in the big FanDuel contest that was top 100, and I had 9 points out of him. So he really let me down.
Yeah, I had him benched in my fantasy league, and I thought about pulling the trigger and putting him in. But I decided to opt there for Joe Burrow, who actually didn't do that well either, but did decent enough, I guess. But regardless, It was a crazy day. Hope you guys had fun watching the games and maybe made some money out of it. But let's try to get some money tonight in the contest at Pittsburgh. Tyler, you just shared this stat with me right before we got on air. The Pittsburgh Steelers haven't lost a game at home in Monday Night Football since 1991. Giants might be in for a tough one, especially considering some of the injuries they've got on their squad right now. The offensive line will be a point of weakness for them. Offensive lineman Andrew Thomas is on IR, so without Thomas, that was the game they gave up 8 sacks to Philadelphia, so that'll be a huge problem. And then they also could be without Jermaine Illuminor at right tackle, so watch the Giants' offensive line in this one. They also are with, good thing for the Giants here, Dexter Lawrence and edge rusher Brian Burns should be back in this one. However, cornerback Adoree Jackson is listed as out in this one. So good news, bad news situation for the Giants in this one as they go up against the Steelers, who are also without a couple guys. Rookie starting center Zach Frazier is out for this one. So it'll be up to backup Ryan McCollum, who only has 2 starts. And then you've got running back Cordero Patterson, who is also listed as out in this one. But the Giants are definitely going to be glad that they have Dexter Lawrence and Brian Burns back. I think that's a huge point for the defense in this one. However, that offensive line that has struggled already, very thin, could have some problems against the Steelers pass rush that is pretty lethal, especially with the likes of TJ Watt there that's going to be coming after him. Maybe 0.5 sacks is the move there, but it's actually not one of our best bets, but we'll get into it. Our picks are available on Underdog, Sleeper, Chalkboard, and ParlayPlay. If you don't have those apps, download them. We've got links for you below. The key is to use the promo code LineStar. That way you can get a deposit match, plus you'll also get 1 free month of the LineStar app, which is exactly the tool that we're using today to help us find the best value in the prop market. The tool is specifically called the PropsAI tool, and what it does is it compares LineStar's projections for all the players, and it compares them to what the lines are in the sportsbook. So it's a really helpful tool, and we'll be referencing it throughout the video. If you're interested, check it out, LineStarApp.com. And if you could do us a huge favor, just like this video, subscribe to the channel, comment below. A comment enters you into our prop bets contest. If we go 3 for 3, one randomly selected commenter will win $60. Basically, we just put our picks on an entry, put our money where our mouth is, and if we win, we're giving out the winnings to a randomly selected commenter. Again, like the video, subscribe to the channel, comment below. You're in it to win it. Let's get to the picks. We're going to start things out with the PropsAI pick of the night, and that's going to be Najee Harris. Over on his receiving yards, the line is at 10.5. LineStar's projection is 12.6. Now, Harris is averaging 19.2. He's been over in 4 of 7. He's been an absolute beast the last 2 weeks in the ground game, just rushing for over 100 yards the last 2 games. However, this could shift in this game because I think that they're actually going up against a pretty good Giants rush defense. Dexter Lawrence is back. Brian Burns is back. That'll make it hard to get it going on the ground. So I think they'll have to. It also makes things hard for Russell Wilson. He's not going to have a ton of time back there given the Steelers pass rush. So I think they're going to have to get it out quick, and some short passes to Najee Harris might be in order here. Remember, Pittsburgh is also without their starting center tonight, making Russell Wilson a little more susceptible to the pass rush and guys like Dexter Lawrence trying to get after him. So I like the spot here for Najee Harris to clear over 10.5 receiving yards. I know some of you guys might be looking at the rushing yards total, but for me, Tyler, I'm kind of shying away from it because, I know he's been an absolute beast in the ground game, but given the fact that we've got possibly one of the best defenders in the game right now in Dexter Lawrence, Sexy Dexy's back, and so is Brian Burns, I'm kind of shying away from the rushing game and leaning into the receiving yards. What's your play here with Najee?
Yeah, I mean, I like the receiving yards over. 5 of the last 5 running backs. Actually, you can even say that it's more than that have been over. But Barkley, Chase Brown, Kenneth Walker, Dowdle, Ford, all of them were over. And in Kenneth Walker's case, the RB2, Charbonnet, was also over. But so it's a good spot for Najee Harris. I also don't mind over 15.5 rushing attempts in the games that they have won. He's been over that line in, 4 of 5. So I expect the Steelers to win this one handedly. And with that, I would expect Najee, even against a good defensive line, to get over that 15.5 rush attempts line.
Yeah, and especially the script there with the offensive coordinator for the Pittsburgh Steelers and Arthur Smith, who just likes to do what he wants to do.
We know what he wants to do, yep.
All right, now it is time for you and I, Tyler, to give our best bets of the night. What you're rolling with on this Monday Night Football matchup?
I'm going to go with Theo Johnson, over 1.5 receptions. LineStar projections, 1.8. He's been over in 2 of the last 3. And I bring up that because over the last 3 is where he's really started to be involved a little bit more in the passing game. But Pitt's allowing 5.4 receptions per game to the tight end, and Theo Johnson's playing like 90% of the snaps now. The other 2 tight ends are barely on the field, so I like that spot. Also, it's the weakest part of this Pittsburgh defense that is very, very good. If you want to pivot off this 1.5 line reception or it's gone, I don't mind over 3 targets either.
I really like the play here for the former tight end from Penn State. He's 6'6", and I looked it up, 264, so even bigger than your average tight end. It's yesterday was National Tight Ends Day. It's really National Tight Ends Week. I think we're going to just keep that trend rolling here with Theo Johnson. Yep. Love that you mentioned the percent of the snaps that he's getting. I also feel like it's a situation where they want to see what they've got in some of these younger guys to step up. I think he has stepped up in the past. In fact, when they won against the Seattle Seahawks, he had 5 receptions for 48 yards in that game. So I think that's an excellent place to start. And you're looking at Daniel Jones, who's absolutely struggled. And he's going to need to get some easy completions.
And Malik Neighbors
will be blanketed, most
Porter's
likely.
going to be all over him.
Yeah. So I like the play there. All right. For my pick, I am going to former Georgia Bulldogs, George Pickens, over 61.5 receiving yards. LineStar's projection is 68.3. While he's only been over in 3 of 7 contests this year, I like the move here for George Pickens on his receiving yards. Given the fact that we had a quarterback change, Wilson seemed to benefit him last week. He had 111 receiving yards against the Jets. He was targeted 9 times in that game. And the Jets ranked 21st in pass defense DVOA versus wide receiver 1. Well, the Giants are even worse. They rank 28th in that category versus wide receiver 1 specifically. 4 of the last 5 wide receiver 1s they faced have gone over. A.J. Brown had 89, Jamar Chase 72, CeeDee Lamb 98, Amari Cooper 86, and I think George Pickens is absolutely in that caliber, in that tier of wide receivers. We saw his acrobatic skills on display. He can catch it with one hand. He can catch it, like leaping over defenders. He just has an incredible athleticism that I think will be on display against this Giants defense that's a little thin, especially without cornerback Adoree Jackson in this one. I think they might struggle. They have a great, front. They have a good defensive line, but behind them, it gets a little weak. So I got to go with George Pickens, my Bulldog, for the over on receiving yards. What do you think about George Pickens this week?
I'm excited about what he may be able to do with Russell Wilson. But he is just such a boom bust guy.
Yeah.
I don't mind, instead of playing the 61.5, if you're on a sports book, pushing that line a little higher and, playing 80 plus or something like that, just because he's boom bust. When he doesn't hit, he's not going to hit by a while. But when he does hit, 61.5 is a low for him. So
let's hope they all hit for us today. All 3 of those are going on an entry on Underdog Fantasy. So if you'd like to tail us, you can do so there. And also remember, if we go 3 for 3, one randomly selected commenter will win $60. And we'll announce that on next Monday Night Football show. All right, without further ado, let's get to our next segment of the show, touchdown calls of the game. Tyler, where are you headed for an anytime touchdown in this Monday night contest between the Steelers and the Giants?
I'm going for somebody's first NFL touchdown, and that is Theo Johnson plus 800. National Tight End Day was yesterday. We're going to keep it rolling with an athletic 6'6", 260 tight end to get his first NFL touchdown. Pitt's allowed 0.5 touchdowns per game to the tight end over the last 4. It is by far the weakest part of their defense. They're 16th on the team defense tool versus tight end, 22nd based on fantasy scoring. I think Johnson's going to get one in.
I like it. On a day yesterday when we had a record number of tight ends scoring touchdowns, I like the trend to continue tonight. But for my pick, I'm going to a wide receiver, and we're just keeping it rolling with George Pickens at plus 185 for an anytime touchdown. He had his first touchdown of the year just last week versus the Jets, but he's had 10 red zone targets over the last 8 weeks. And when I look at this connection between Pickens and Wilson, I think we could see something similar to what we saw with Wilson and Courtland Sutton when he was back in Denver. When he was back in Denver, Sutton had a career high 10 touchdowns. And you're going up against a Giants defense that their red zone defense is pretty good. They rank 10th in opponent red zone scoring. However, that secondary, Giants are 28th in pass defense DVOA versus wide receiver 1s, and I think they're weakened by the fact that cornerback Adoree Jackson is out in this one, and I think this is a place where Pickens could pick them apart in this one. So we're going Pickens for an anytime touchdown plus 185. I think he'll be the beneficiary of Russell Wilson being back and slinging him the rock in this one and making some insane catches like he always does week in and week out. So love the play here for my boy George Pickens, Georgia Bulldogs. It's Georgia-Florida week too, if you didn't know, Tyler. Big week in the SEC, coming off a bye week. And Halloween week, it's a crazy week. You know what I was saying last week on the show? We got to afford some Halloween candy. Did you go out and buy some Halloween candy yet? It's expensive.
I didn't actually buy some, but I did see the prices, and it wasn't too bad. It was like $6 a bag. I don't know where you're shopping, but it wasn't that.
What kind of candy are you getting? I mean, what are you getting them? Smarties? That's gross. Nobody likes those. Tyler.
No, it was just like your standard like.
Was it a Costco special? Maybe it was a Costco special. All right, because I was just Googling it, and I was pulling them up. I'm like, $25 for a bag of candy? That's insane.
Yeah, that's insane.
Either way.
Maybe that was a big bag, though, because, I mean, I got to buy multiple of them, so.
Yeah, aren't you on a street that's, like, crazy with Halloween or something?
Yeah, I'm not super crazy, but it is. There's a big, like, haunted house just a couple blocks from us, and people, like, get in line, and there's a line to go into somebody's haunted house that they do. And so people come for that, and then do a little, neighborhood trick-or-treating.
And you can't be the house that lets the kids down, you gotta bring it on Halloween.
Definitely not.
Yeah. All right, we've digressed enough on this show, but it is Steelers Giants after all. So those are our picks for today. If you have any questions, drop them in the comments. Again, a comment enters you into our prop bets contest. Before we leave you, though, let's talk about the total of this game set at 37. Woof. But Pittsburgh favored by 6 in this one. Any leans in terms of the sides?
Over in Pittsburgh. -6 is a lot, though. I mean, they.
Yeah, that's a lot.
But I'm gonna still go with it. I'll just take Pitt all the way and the over.
You know what? This weekend, and I'm riding high since I picked the Rams last Thursday night to outright win that one, and so I'm feeling a little overconfident in myself. So, is it disgusting to pick the Giants? Absolutely. Should I pick the Giants? No, definitely not. But am I going to? Yeah, I think I'm going to. At least I'm not picking them to win outright, okay? Not going that crazy. We're just taking the points in this one. That's a lot of points in the National Football League for anybody, especially given the fact that Dexter Lawrence and Brian Burns are back. I just think they're just such game-changing players there that could impact the game significantly, especially given the fact that they could be without their starting center tonight for Pittsburgh. That could impact things as well. That's just my take on it. Play it how you want, though. Good luck out there. Let us know what you're rolling with tonight. We're all trying to help each other out and beat the books, so would love your feedback or any bets you're taking for tonight. Drop them below. Good luck in all of your bets. Have a happy sports equinox. And speaking of sports equinox, make sure to check out our NBA picks as well. We'll be having some of those. And in that show, maybe I'll drop like a World Series pick and quickly look up an NHL one as well, just to round out the sports equinox. We'll put together a parlay or something. Good luck, everybody. We'll see you next time.